Welcome to another episode of Singapore's Real Estate Explained, where we do our best to break down for you bite-sized news and information, and as well as new launch reviews about Singapore's real estate, right? I think right now there are so many people who are on the fence about investing, right? And previously all our webinars that we had one webinar specifically about how to pick the top 10 developments, resale and new launch. And in the first 3 developments that we were identifying, there were already like 100 slides. And then like the 10th one that we completed, remember, there was like 400 slides, 300 plus it. Yeah. So we decided not to complete the whole thing. But the next webinar that's coming up for this, okay, for those who are waiting for it, unfortunately, our schedule has been packed. We're even going for our overseas church conference very soon, right? So it was going to be, I think, in 3 weeks' time. But if you haven't received the invitation or you don't know where the news will be posted, right? There's the Telegram group chat over there. The Telegram group chat over there actually states clearly when all these exclusive webinars are. We are keeping the community smaller because why? Not many things to be able to invest in the market. So when we handpick, there's only a few buyers that can buy on it. Not like all 1,000 can buy. And thankfully, we already have crossed 1,100 subscribers, where we set out to achieve hopefully 2,000 by end of this year. But I think we're on track. So thank you so much for being part of this community. And because of all the videos that we have posted and the hard work that Caleb has been doing behind the scenes as well, we have like 30 plus appointments in the month of May specifically for investment, right? 30 unique heterogeneous appointments with 30
everyone's
clients.
Work,
Everybody. Yeah, I mean, we had Grace was helping out as well. Vincent, the China team, also helping out to translate some of the content to China, the Chinese, right? So if you want to contact us right here, over here, our client care executive Felicia will be talking to you first so that she can schedule an appointment with some of us or any of us, okay? So without further ado, today I just want to share with you, we are covering a new launch review with none other than our investment analyst. For those of you who don't know, Caleb appeared on our news dash before. How was the first experience?
Wow. A bit awkward.
And stressful here and there. But can I just say something, Caleb? In the first video, you have done a great job. And I think this is like my 200th or 300 video. So things takes trading. So it's fine, right? So Caleb has been very hardworking behind the scenes, doing up all the content that you see with, of course, with a team, right? So I think the credit goes out to the entire investment team, but he is like the brains behind all the analysis, because he actually wanted to do computer science in the past, but then has a passion for AI, but decides that law was apparently more practical, But see, computer engineers now are like, wow, raking in, right? And I think what's the purpose behind that? Is it, why are you so driven to always churn out, just opinionated pieces, and not with the intention of being different or significant, right? But why?
For me, I think that for real estate investments in Singapore, it's a little bit lacking in terms of objective data and analysis, because what I see quite often on articles or YouTube videos is that realtors will give you advice, but they'll mainly share some factors here and there, and based on their personal opinion.
Yeah, so we try to quantify it as much as we can, I believe.
Yes, definitely there are both quantitative and qualitative aspects to investments.
Yes.
But I believe that the fundamentals, the foundations of investment should be quantitative first, and then the qualitative is bolsters whatever the quantitative shows.
Absolutely. So the qualitative is the experience of the realtor. The quantitative is historical data, facts and figures that don't lie. So adding both together, that gives you the investment acumen, and that's what we are planning to do as well. So if you are being appointed to Caleb as one of the customer or the client, because we have an investment team, right? Just say hi and just show some gratitude. Maybe through that you can get some better deals from this Lobang King. His name is Lobang King from now on. Real estate Lobang King. Okay. So if you don't know where to contact us, it's mentioned. The number will be over here. You can just give us a call, text us, call us, send us some voice message. Hey guys, you guys are so nice, because you guys have even been texting us and saying, anyways, good job. Just want to let you know, good job. We have been listening to you on podcasts. We've been watching you on YouTube as well. Okay, so let's jump straight into things, because today we are going to be talking about a project that is very close to our childhood home. I'm staying there now. You are staying there now. And Caleb used to stay in the boarding school of ACSI, right?
Yes.
Your family, because the dad is actually like a headmaster there or something like that, right? Is it headmaster or dean or what do you call it?
He's a director now.
Director there. Yeah, year director now, right? And we used to go to ACSI, play, weekends, right? It's like, wow, 没有人的. It's like totally free for us to use anything. It's like a childhood paradise lah. But then he's shifted to a landed home that's near in the west, where his parents made quite a bit of money from there. I've been staying in the west ever since I was 6 years old. So today we'll be talking about this new launch project called the Myst, okay? And Christian O is not here today because he's busy concluding a deal, and that's the reason why, we're thinking, hey, let's have new faces on our new launch analysis. Sometimes you see Christian and Grace, who's also part of the investment team. Sometimes you'll see me and Caleb, me and Chris. So yeah, I hope that different faces makes you a little bit more intrigued by dry data.
Yeah, we have mix and match.
Yeah, mix and matches. Let us know which is your favorite match and mix. Okay, so let's talk about this. A little bit more details about the Myst. Okay, just a fun fact. Okay, the Myst, in terms of absolute information, is not out yet. And a lot of our readers, followers have been telling us, hey, you guys can cover some things here, so we have some guiding principles, right? And that's why we are here. Okay, so the Myst is somewhere near Upper Bukit Timah Road. This is actually in District 23, near Hazel Park area, Cashew area as well. And fun fact, Cashew has some GCBs also, and not the most popular because West Side never caught the best side. East Side is always the best side. And it's a locality where Westies will get to understand, right? It's along a flyover, and I'll go a little detail about what this project's all about, right? It's a CDL project, right? Mm-hmm. And total site area is about 179,000 square feet, not too small a development. It's quite big a development. 99 years tenure. Interesting, huh? Why interesting? Later I'll show you some of the comparables around the area. 408 units in total, and of course in District 23. Okay, so maybe Caleb, share with us a little bit more. CDL developers background. What have they developed?
So some of the developments that they have done, most recently you should know is Tembusu Grand.
And right now, Chris is actually negotiating a bounce out unit for one of our customers in Tembusu Grand where the PSF is under the average, and that's why we're snapping it up. That's why Chris is not here, right? And any more?
And we also have Piccadilly Grand.
Yes.
And Canning Hill Piers.
Yes.
And they're all in either RCR or CCR, but all of them are super popular.
Absolutely. And one thing about CDL is that we, on the ground, we realized that a lot of customers actually like CDL as a developer because they feel that CDL is a reputable developer, and that gets a lot of trust, right, in the products that they buy. In the past, the older generation, they always love to buy developers based on their reputation. Right now in our generation, a lot of the developers, because they've been passed down to second gen, and second gen maybe they're looking to improve, adapt a little bit more. We're seeing that quality is quite consistent throughout. There's not some developers that have crazy bad qualities, but CDL has been known to produce luxurious yet mass market areas kind of properties, right? Yes. And Canning Hill Piers was an example. It's in District 6, but a lot of people think that it's a District 9-10 project. Firstly, because of how luxurious it is, and secondly, also because of how pricey is also lah. Okay, so we can talk about that later on, right? So in terms of connectivity wise, right, can you share more about this? Where is the Myst at, and how far it is actually from the nearby MRT station? Yeah.
So actually the nearest MRT is 6 minutes walk away from Cashew MRT, and probably about 10 minutes walk away from Bukit Panjang MRT.
Yeah.
And the nearest LRT is a little bit far. It's 19 minutes walk to Pending LRT.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So in terms of connectivity with MRT, is pretty good.
Yes. So as you can see right over here, right, in terms of the MRT, 6 minutes walk is not too bad a walk. I think it's quite good, right? But 19 minutes walk, of course, that is not considered a walking distance LRT station. But if you have an MRT with you, you usually wouldn't take the LRT because LRT is usually the route towards the MRT station, right? Yeah. And this area specifically, there are actually quite a number of good schools. I would say good average schools and also food options as well. So some of the schools that is nearby includes, of course, you have the German European International School, CHIJ, Greenridge, Bukit Panjang Primary School, which is actually where some of my cousins attended. Zhenghua Primary School, Westview Primary School, West Spring Primary School, Greenridge Primary School, Assumption English as well as Assumption Pathway School. And in terms of the nearest amenities nearby, we actually drew out the locality for you because I think that Upper Bukit Timah Road, which is relatively near to where, Bukit Panjang, Hillview kind of is a place that not a lot of people will get to understand, right? Ultimately, when it comes to investments, location is never important in Singapore specifically. But when I took my trip down to Sydney, I went to Ho Chi Minh, I went to Vietnam, I went to Thailand, take a look at some real estate assets, I understand why location is important. Because if you are in a place that the location is not that good, right, what will happen is that you have to take a Grab to buy your nearest amenity. And sometimes the Grab can be 20 minutes to 30 minutes long. And if let's say I'm in the city center of Sydney and I want to go all the way to Blue Mountains, which is like 2 hours drive. If I'm staying in Blue Mountains, my nearby amenities may take me 15 minutes to drive to buy something. So that's why location is a big factor in big nations. But in a nation state, a small nation, the smallest nation, I would say, one of the smallest nations in the world, Singapore, everything is just so well connected, right? But Upper Bukit Timah is not a place that a lot of people know because it's a very big place. So nearest MRT station, as what Caleb have mentioned accurately, about 465 meters away, we have Cashew, bus stops, hawker centers as well. Nearest being Bukit Panjang Hawker Center, Senja Hawker Center, right? And unfortunately, no schools within the 1 to 2 km radius, right? Now, a lot of the parents are saying that schools, even if it's 2 km radius or 1.2 km radius, is considered, not worth it already because it's so hard to enter. 1 km, you still need to do a lot of the volunteer work. You do see parents doing volunteers? Yeah. What are your thoughts about that? I mean, like you see your dad in ACSI, right? And we came from RI, right? So what do you think about primary schools?
I think there are two groups of parents. Some are more I would say chill, like they don't exactly try and put too much pressure on their kids.
Yeah.
And they kind of just let them do whatever within as long as they are attending school, they're doing their homework. Some are very, very kiasu parents because we are in Singapore after all. So they will do their
stressful,
best. Yeah. They do have to a lot of them actually do their best to try and get a property that's very, very near the school.
A good school, right?
Yeah, near a good school.
Yeah. And personally, like, I think both of us came from quite kiasu parents' upbringing. And that's the reason how we got into like the top school in Singapore. But I think on hindsight, good schools, there's better communities. I think you get a little bit more rigor in the things you study. Like we do computer science when we were in secondary 1, we do philosophy. Remember?
Yeah, I remember that.
And oral communication, right? But on hindsight, when I look back and I have, friends who are from, we call it neighborhood schools, right? A lot of them are very good entrepreneurs, because they really think out of the box and we are just like so fixated on the system, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so honestly, I think schools from a millennial perspective, I don't know. I was just talking to Penny recently, whether, do you think that we will be very stressed over our kids? I said, nah, I'm going to be a cool parent, I won't care. But I tell you honestly, I think I would care, right? So I understand this entire Singapore's mentality to it. Okay, so in terms of shopping nearby, we have Hillview 2. Hillview 2 is a beautiful place, okay? Not a lot of things, but you have Anytime Fitness there, not too bad, right? And hey, working out is quite important nowadays.
Yes.
Yeah, we have been saying that we want to be consistent working out since 18 years old. 10 years have passed already. We are childhood friends, right? Like Chris and I. Real Mall has one of the best vegetarian food. Expensive, pricey. You have Popeyes there. I think it's about 24 hours. Cold storage there as well. And the amazing thing about Real Mall is that you can walk along the railway track and that's like a very nice 3 to 4 hours hike. Right, beautiful greenery nearby as well. You have Greenwich Shopping Centre. I honestly haven't been to Greenwich Shopping Centre before. Right, Hillian Mall, of course. Everything. Yeah. Hillian Mall.
Amazing mall. Everything is there.
Yeah.
And it's right next to Bukit Panjang Plaza as well.
And Caleb takes the train and bus. So to him, right, locality convenience is super important. Right. So how's Hillian Mall? It's always the place where you buy food, right? I remember.
Food to dinner, to chill there, just walk around, buy some electronic stuff. Yeah.
Right. Very, very comprehensive and what's the word? Like very 很周到啦，怎么很周全。Very
all-encompassing
kind of mall, right? And then we have Bukit Panjang Plaza. Wow, this is the OG of the West. Yeah. Okay, this is the place where I used to chill when I was in primary school. When I go home, and my cousin stays nearby there, so that's the reason why we are there as well. And now all my cousins are staying nearing to the east. Then we're also shifting to the east, Okay, and we have Junction 10 there as well. I'm so sorry, and Fajar Shopping Centre. Okay. Other amenities includes, of course, the Senja Hawker Centre, Bukit Timah Market and Food Centre. Amazing cai tao kueh, amazing kueh chap, and amazing soya bean there, right? And in that Bukit Timah area, right, specifically that area where Reserve Residences is kind of in District 21, a lot of places where you can have like frog porridge you can have good massages there you have one of the most famous chicken rice. And when I was younger in army, I taught tuition there for like 6 hours during the weekends in a development that was nearby there as well. Yeah. Chestnut Nature Park, Patia Park, you have the Dairy Farm Nature Park, as well as the Bukit Timah Nature Reserve, which is quite a drive away, right? But, this is how much passion we have about the West. Because we are like the oldies of the West, we'll call it, right? We're like the OGs of the West, right? And the amazing thing about the West is this. Sometimes staying in the East, right? I would say maybe in like Katong area, Amber area, Maya area, CBD, Tanjong Pagar and stuff like that, you don't get a lot of $3.50 chicken rice.
Definitely. Everything is overpriced in the
Everything's
central
expensive.
area.
Like $4 chicken rice is even considered quite cheap now. You don't get like $1 drink. You don't get like $1.20 iced coffee. And in the West, you have all of these amenities, which is so good. It's so
And especially if you're a nature lover.
Yeah.
There's so many parks around the west side.
Absolutely. So you can walk around and you can just chill lah. I think the government has actually designed the West in a way that it has been, very connected with nature, right? In the past, when we were younger, I think not much. We take a lot of our prayer walks and also our walks along the canal that's near our house as well in the West as well, right? It's beautiful. Okay, so let's just share with you a little bit more about the freehold premium in District 23. Maybe Caleb can share with us a little bit more about this. Yeah.
So the freehold premium is actually quite low. It's actually 6.4% average. It's 8.8% in 2020, 5.07% in 2021, and then 5.35% in 2022.
Yeah.
Yeah, we try and avoid to use using 2023
because it's just the first quarter.
Yes. Yeah. But you can see already that there are a lot more leasehold developments, so that could actually skew the freehold premium a little bit. But on average, there aren't many freehold developments in the area.
Yeah.
But also the demand for freehold developments in the area is also not very high.
Yeah.
And one possible reason is because this is quite outside of connectivity.
Yes.
It's where the more affordable houses are.
Yes.
For both private and public housing.
Agree.
So people will not be as willing to pay for a freehold premium in these areas.
I absolutely agree. And I think one thing about freehold premium, 6.4%, I've seen like in the East, it can even go up to 18 to 19%, where there is a big difference between freehold properties and leasehold properties. But it's good to understand that in the whole District 23, right, the main concern, because it's a mass market place, right, it is a place where it has to have affordable housing and practical use of space. So if you see places like 1 bedroom there, 1+ study there, 2 bedroom, most of the HDB upgraders, they are shifting to the West specifically, either near their parents, they're staying in Bukit Batok, Bukit Panjang. It is mostly about that practical use of space, that they need the space and they want to stay in a private property as well. So just one pro tip staying in that area, right, is this. If you want to live in that area, later on we will share with you what is actually more popular in terms of size, right? Whether you should consider 1, 2, or 3, okay? So the polynomial trend line is something that the investment team that is being led by Caleb have created to be able to, it started off as a quest, right? A lot of people are very impressed by this, and I'm also very impressed by this when I first saw it. But the impressiveness that we get is 1 year plus of hard work, of scraping before 8 months of getting nowhere, because we just don't understand. It's like a crazy equation that we're trying to figure out. We got the smartest of people in our schools to also help us get this out as well. But the entire quest of this is to be able to understand how do we get a more accurate valuation, intrinsic valuation of the property. Because once you can buy a property based off its intrinsic valuation and not what it is currently at, which is what other people have been buying at prices at, you are able to understand a little bit more about whether you're buying undervalued or overvalued, right? I would say currently our polynomial regression trend line is about 70% there, not 100% yet, but it has been getting quite good accuracy, for some of our clients when it comes to predicting growth. So tell us a bit more. What is the polynomial trend line about, right? As simple as you can. Okay. And also, why do we have a linear graph and we also have a polynomial graph that we're looking right here? Yeah, please.
So I've actually tested quite a few different ways to model in order to figure out what exactly can determine appreciation potential. Yeah. So at the end, we are still in the midst of developing and improving our model, and this is just the beginning lah.
So that being said, right, if you are someone who's amazing at Excel, stats, math, we welcome you to come into this team, or even to just share some opinions about our modeling, right? And I think that is how we improve when it comes to accuracy of spotting the right investment data and the right unit in the market as well, right? Okay, Caleb, back to you. So tell us a little bit more about the polynomial trend line, right? Why was it created? And also, what are some of the elements that we take into account when analyzing properties? Yeah.
So initially, we started out by comparing a lot of different aspects of a development to compare their correlation with appreciation. And we found that a lot of factors actually have very little correlation to appreciation. But what we do realize, instead of looking at appreciation, the more basic level is looking at price. And in fact, if you take a look at the trends, we can see that completion date, it actually has quite a high correlation to your pricing.
Absolutely.
And these are all based on current pricing. So,
and I think we have analyzed at least 60 qualitative factors, right? To be able to see that whatever that maybe people are saying on the market, like location, good school, good development, so many different factors. We analyzed 60. So we sat down and think about 60 that, whatever people are saying, whereas the R square, which is the correlation, is not as high as what people think. And ultimately, what's the highest that we see now is currently is completion date
and price.
Yeah. And for some R square values that are slightly lower when it comes to completion date and price, means this is where in this particular area, qualitative factors is actually going to be more important.
Yes, you can. So when you see that the R square is lower, definitely what you say is true. There's going to be more variance, and these variance can be explained through more qualitative aspects, more qualitative factors.
Yes. Okay, so as simply as possible, explain to us, based on District 23, 1 bedroom. Okay, we're talking about freehold now, right? Even though this is a 99 years project, right?
Yes, correct.
How is the trend looking like? Simple terms, as much as you can. Because we tend to get quite deep sometimes,
We always start with freehold. Because we have to adjust for leasehold freehold premium whenever we are comparing all the different developments. Because some are leasehold, some are freehold.
Absolutely.
So we have to take that into account. But essentially, as of now, we have two trend lines. One is a third degree order polynomial, and also we have a linear trend line. So the difference between the linear trend line and the third degree order polynomial is that the linear trend line doesn't take into account variance in the data points, whereas your polynomial trend line actually accounts for the difference in the number of data points at each point. And in terms of but from the use of having both is, of course, your polynomial trend line is more accurate in order to estimate prices.
Yes.
But what you can see is what is the difference based on your current prices between the linear trend line and the polynomial trend line. So if your polynomial trend line is way above your linear trend line, it actually suggests that prices are actually rising a little bit too fast.
I hear you. So in real estate terms, right, what does this mean? How is District 23 1 bedroom doing?
So we can actually calculate based on the range that we have given for freehold. So 1655 PSF to 2280 it starts from the linear price, linear average price to the polynomial average price.
Yes.
So this is the range that we can give you to roughly gauge what is the freehold price. But the thing about this is that the correlation is not as high. R square is 0.59. So that means that there are a lot of other factors that are affecting price determined in this area. Not just your completion date.
Which are some things that we mentioned previously, like potentially the size of the units in a particular development, how many bigger size units there are, and also comfort of livability for mass market. I think is quite important as well, because I do understand that in District 23, there are some areas, very small developments that is not family friendly, right? Most families stay there, or there's like full west sun facing developments that, mass market individuals don't feel comfortable staying in. It's not an investment, it's a own stay product, right? So I think this kind of qualitative factors are actually relatively important, and that accounts for the 0.40219, right? Of the remaining R square. So I think what we're trying to share with you is that the average price of freehold properties there for fair value right now, right, is about 1655 per square foot to 2280 PSF, and the average price for leasehold right now is going to be about 1558 to 2019 per square foot. And even though it's quite a big gap, right, what we're saying here, I think that the upper echelon, based off the polynomial trend line at 2280 and 2019 per square foot, sets an alarming bell as to any PSF that's higher than that, which potentially may be the Myst.
Definitely.
Is not a product that you may want to consider based on our analysis. Am I right?
That's right.
Yes. Okay. So average annual cap gains, okay, we're talking about ROI, right, not ROE, right? This is not on the down payment, but actual value is 1.57%. This can be lower than my fixed deposit rate.
Yes. It's not ideal, but the thing is that there are a lot of different developments, and it may be that some of the older ones were performing more poorly because of the quantity of of these developments that we're analyzing, it will actually skew the number. Yep.
I hear you on that. Okay, and on a one bedroom, what we see is that the demand is moderate. What about the second one? The second bedroom, come share with us a little bit more about the average pricing.
All right. Certainly, so two-bedders, you can see the average annual capital gains is actually higher at 2%.
Yeah.
The R square is even lower. It's about 0.519.
Yeah.
And the average price for freehold premium in for two-bedders is 1607 PSF to 2200 2 PSF.
Yeah.
For freehold.
So based off this particular chart, it shows that the lower the R square is, right, it doesn't mean that the data is irrelevant. But let me try. What it's trying to say is that, so the newer the project is, it doesn't mean that because of the date of completion, it doesn't mean that the property can actually be willing to be able to command a way higher pricing. Am I right?
Yes.
Doesn't mean new is better than resale in this area.
Yes.
Absolutely. So that's the reason why we show you R-square. Some of the customers are asking us, or our followers are asking us, hey, why do you show this polynomial regression even though the R-square is low? What I'm trying to tell you is that in that particular area, new doesn't really matter. Actually, if the price is good, based on our resale price gap analysis, which we may cover in other videos, or you can call us for a consultation, it's actually better of an investment metric as well. Okay. So
actually, the R-square is useful to determine how useful the polynomial trend line is actually to estimate prices in the specific district.
I hear you on that. And what we're seeing here is that the 2-bedroom condominium is also moderate demand. Yeah. Okay. What about next? Let's talk about the D23 polynomial trend line for 3 bedrooms. Yeah.
So 3-bedders, as you can see, the polynomial trend line is actually not too far away from the overall average linear trend line.
Yep.
And this is actually a good sign. And it's also reflected from the average annual capital gains. It's 2.52%.
Yeah.
As higher than both the 1-bedder and the 2-bedder.
Yeah. So right now, as we're saying in the West area, if you're looking to invest in something in the West, it doesn't mean newer the better. Newer with good PSF that is under what we are saying the intrinsic value is good. 1895 PSF leasehold, how to find? Yeah, 2025 PSF leasehold to find. And this is how stringent we are when it comes to investments. And our clients love us. Some hate us because they want to buy for own stay, okay? And that's why we are just numbers-driven people, right? And true enough, 3-bedroom condominiums have higher demand. And that's what we have predicted as well. And that's the reason why there's higher annual cap gains because of higher demand. Yeah, more people are looking to buy, right? For upgraders, right? Okay, what about the 4-bedroom freehold? Wow, the R-square looks better for the polynomial trend line. Yeah.
Yep. Certainly, as you have less developments, and of course, the reason why you have less developments because less developments have data on larger bedrooms like 4 bedrooms or very, very small bedrooms like studio or 1 bedroom or 5 bedroom. Yep. So naturally, we have less data, and this will naturally also give rise to a higher R-square. There'll be less differences.
I hear you. Yeah. And very interesting to note here, that the demand for 4 bedrooms here is moderate. Okay. And to explain this, there's a possibility that if there's a particular family that has a quantum that can fit a 4-bedroom in District 23, they will most likely be exploring places, maybe a 3-bedroom that's out nearer to the central area, right? Rather than stay in the West. My parents are diehard fans of the West, but not everybody is like that. You look at their kid, right? We shifted to the East. I also planning to shift them to the East because it's a place that they like, right? Okay, I shift to the East. Logistically, it doesn't make sense because I'm the only child and my parents have me as the only kid. But I've already prepared a room for them in my house if they want to visit anytime, right? And also, they wanted to shift in the East for a long time. Yeah, so that's just fulfilling their dreams as well. Okay, great. Okay, so let's just go through a little bit more about CDL's performance in the past projects they have launched, and also to be able to understand a little bit more about the take-up rate. And also secondly, how far are they off their break-even pricing, right? How much percentage we are looking at over here? Okay, so if we take a look at this particular table this particular figure over here, the estimated break-even price for Tembusu Grand was about 2059 per square foot, right? There's a variance from 2280 to 2709 per square foot. 27 is the freehold average of Continuum, the price average of freehold project Continuum in the area as well. So all the best, right? Chris and I like to say all the best, but 2474 per square foot, right? And we are seeing close to 20% kind of profit margin for CDL. And if you were to take a look, right, at the average take up, right, it is honestly very, very, very healthy with 354 units that was sold in just the month of launch in April 2023. And of course, when it comes to charting, because it's only a month, right, we are not going to see much variance in that as well. So this gives you the confidence that the first CDR project that we're analyzing, which is Tembusu Grand, has a strong tick up. Okay, next, let's go on to Piccadilly Grand. Okay, so Piccadilly Grand, we're seeing that the indicative pricing is about 2012 per square foot on average, with a close to, I would say, okay, Piccadilly Grand launched a little bit more realistically, about a 12 to 14% kind of price tag above break even compared to the average. And similarly, right, upon the launch day, there's always high take up rate. Okay, and if you take a look at the pricing from May 2022 to May 2023, right, what you are seeing here is that CDL do not increase prices by a lot right? And it is fair. Okay, so this chart over here is a mixture of all unit types. So there are some months where there is a plunge, not because CDL decides to give a crazy discount, but rather because it's a big unit that was transacted and the PSF is lower. So I think something you have to understand, okay? But what we're trying to say here is this. If you are still saving up to buy a CDL project, or if you are waiting to see if there are better launches, based on developers' past pricing strat according to Piccadilly Grand, they do not increase price so quickly. There is actually a 1 year wait out time where the prices remain quite stable as well.
Yes.
Yeah, you see the same way as well, right? And Penrose, similarly. Penrose, I remember this project because it was a blockbuster project, similarly. And it was a project that I had one client who teared leaving the show flat because we asked him not to buy the unit, even though it was his daughter's kind of dream place. But in the end, they settled very nicely at a resale development that was nearby, right? And if you take a look at Penrose, the estimated break-even was 1329 per square foot. And the average pricing, if you take a look here, is about 1584 PSF during launch in September 2020. Similarly, about 15 to 20% kind of profit margin, right? So with the indicative price known for the Myst, we can predict a 15 to 20% profit margin based on the most three recent developments to see what the indicative price is. And most likely, later we'll share with you what the indicative price is going to be. Okay, the news are not out yet. Yeah, but there are agents who are already talking about the project because, our agencies are actually already rallying up people to sell it, but we haven't gotten the exact news, so we don't want to share any imperfect information here. And similarly, take a look at the pricing. Sama-sama lah. Right? Of course, launch day price, you can see it was lower. It went up by a bit. For Penrose, because it was quite a highly demanded project due to its per square foot at about 1,005 to 1,006-7, right? In the RCR precinct, right? Obviously, that's the reason why CDL could then be a little bit more courageous in increasing prices, right? Yes. And from 2020 to 2022, right? These are months of COVID, plus the pent-up demand to buy something because of delay in completion for a lot of the government housing projects, right? So if you can take a look at the developer sales, same thing, crazy uptake September 2020 and remain very stable in terms of units sold in the subsequent months, right? And eventually sold out. Yeah.
One thing that we definitely should note, right, is that for new launches or newer launches, is the price change is not as indicative of its performance as the uptake.
Yes.
Because if you have a very popular development and most of the units are already snapped up initially, then you will see that the price is somewhat stagnant.
Yes.
But it's not because it's not a popular development.
Yes.
It's because it hasn't TOP'd yet. So when the development actually TOPs, prices can be a lot higher.
Yes. And that's the reason why when a lot of our customers, we have served, I think till date now, maybe till this year, is about 480 already. Used to be about 400 start and last year, investment clients. And we are always seeing the benefits of a TOP project. I can tell you one thing, 3 years ago and 5 years ago, my clients who bought units that are TOPing soon, they are already planning about the dream home that they want to achieve because of the concept planning and as well as the prediction that we have done accurately in the past, right? And let alone now we are getting sharper. So that's how, what Killer mentioned just now, we hope to change lives through objective and through real estate opinions, right? So absolutely spot on that, right? So the next jump you'll see during TOP, but there are also some projects that upon TOP don't make money because of the developer's pricing. Because developer got a little too greedy at the start, they decided to drop price because they are worried about the ABS QC timeline, and there you see volatility in pricing. Once you see prices look like a heartbeat, up, down, that's when you know that TOP that time there may be a problem, even though you are buying low, okay? So talk to any of us. If the whole world of real estate investments is super complex, I don't know how people can just use qualitative factors to say, hey, this is what you should buy because this is how it's going to be. These are all just baseless assumptions. Use facts and figures. And from there, we have consistently helped clients make money. You want a consultation? Just key the number here, okay? I think a lot of people are asking, how can I get in contact with you? Because there are just so many channels, right? We tend to miss out messages. So please just come to the central number. And if you want more of such investment content, you can just join the Telegram group chat that's going to be there, okay? Great, let's head on. Okay, so the Myst. There were just some developments in the District 23 area that some have been sold, some has been recently launched, and there's some upcoming land bids that's coming up, right? So of course, we have the Botany at Dairy Farm. 2008, 2009 kind of PSF. And we used to have Dairy Farm residences sold out integrated development, 1,006 per square foot, you know, it didn't seem too well with me. After seeing Jurong Lake Point en bloc, right, 2,000 plus per square foot break even, I kind of think that this is the direction that Singapore's real estate is heading towards already, right? So, of course, we have three main plots over here, the Myst being somewhat a little bit closer towards where most of the amenities are in the west. And if you take a look at the surrounding developments in this area, right, you're going to see that, interestingly, there is a fair mix of 999 years and 99 years property in the area, right? Hazel Park Condominium is a place where I used to hang out with my bandmate Adriel, who is in Sydney. And we have been talking about en bloc ever since he was 14 years old, till we are 27. And, you know, it's just a very big development, right? So this is something that I just want everybody to understand, which is you are entering Myst as a 99-year project in a 999 years enclave. But I think the investment team has already shown you the freehold premium and the correlation and the prices of leasehold versus freehold, depending on the tenure of the property and what you should enter at if the prices is if it's a leasehold property, right? But just to let you know, in terms of average per square foot, you can take a look. 1,005, 1,002, 1,004, 1,000, 1,3. The one of the closest Helium residences, a mixed development at 1,007, 1,3, 1,2. And of course, the Dairy Farm, as I mentioned, right, is about 1,006 per square foot. So, interestingly, we don't know what the break-even price of the Myst is because it's a private en bloc sale. It's not a government land sale. So the information is not out yet. But what do you think is going to be the indicative per square foot, in your opinion?
I think it will be around 2,001 average.
And it's fair, right? Because in the area, everybody is selling at 2,000. It doesn't make sense for you to sell lower. I personally feel that later on we're going to share with you what our indicative PSF is. Okay, later I'm going to share with you. So if we take a look at the surrounding land bids in this particular area, the Myst, right, you can see, okay, there is no data yet, right? But we have Hillview Rise that was at 1,007 per square foot that was bidded already. Most likely the launch price is going to be about 2,001 to 2,002. And this particular area is slightly different. It's considered the more atas area in the west, right? Not much of a difference in proximity, but I would think that it's just a very quiet, serene area that a lot of people like to be at, right? And of course, Dairy Farm Walk as well. I believe this is the Botany, right? That is at a break-even of 1,006, launch at 1,008 and 1,009. So, if you take a look at Dairy Farm Residences, which has already been sold, launch price was 1,563. In the end, was selling at 1,600 to close to 1,700 at a break-even of 1,004. You have Meatwood also, the Meatwood at 1,006. Launch price was only 1,648 per square foot. And then we also have Mount Botany at 1,069. Launch price at 1,819 per square foot. So, this is our own launch price estimate, okay? Knowing that the developer will understand that this is one of going to be the most mass market launch in the market as of now, right? I think developers, as what you mentioned, will be going through an indicative of 2,001 per square foot. Actually, me and Caleb, we didn't discuss what our launch price estimate is. And if you realize, we are spot on at somewhere in the middle. His indications are in the middle. This shows how much numbers we have been analyzing as this investment team, right? And I think that there's a possibility that the developer may launch it under 2,000 to use it as a marketing tool to say, hey, we are the cheapest in the market. But remember this, 1,009 compared to the leasehold counterparts near the area, in the area at 1,002, 1,001. There is a big discrepancy in terms of the resale price gap. And you got to be careful about that as well, okay? We are not sure about the break-even. If the break-even is going to be at 1,009, then of course they're not going to launch at 1,009. But if the break-even is lower than 1,009, which, because this land was awarded in 2021.
Yes.
So I believe they bought it maybe at, Dairy Farm, 2018, bought it at 1,004, right? If you take a look at 2022, bought it at 1,007, Hillview, right? 2022 at 1,006. I believe they bought it cheaper than the Botany. So they have the possibility of launching lower or even similar price to the Botany. So this is our indicative launch price estimate. Any closing thoughts about the Myst?
Personally, I think that the launch price, they will try and tie it close to the Botany. But I mean, the botany was also not performing as well, so they may actually decide to bring it down a little bit lah.
Because it's a competitor, right?
Yes,
It's
but
like- yeah.
they can always capitalize on their reputation in terms of all the developments that they have produced
Yeah.
so far.
Yeah. Yeah.
In order to price slightly higher, have a slight pricing premium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
CDL is known to, they are very strong development team. They are known to be able to price developments at a very attractive pricing, but not too low. And a lot of the projects that people have bought through CDL has made money because of developers not being overly greedy. Right? And I really love working with CDL. So the pricing is not out here. Today in this part 1 series, we just want to give you a guiding principle of the Myst, so that when you are considering of it, because some of you are making family planning around it already, you know whether to consider or not consider. When the price is out, part 2 will be out, right? Similar to, I think, was it Pine Grove that we recently shot?
Yep.
Yeah,
Pine Tree
Residences that originally shot, right? And that is something that we are trying to come up with speed so that you have, just that guiding principle and handlebars to invest in, right? And personally, in every single episode, okay, at the end of the episode, don't take any of the things that we say as financial advice or take it as any ways of, putting down the reputation of a developer or, any form of, asking you to avoid or even potentially buy a sale, buy a deal, right? But I just want to share our objective opinion as to ourselves personally. Will we buy, wait, or avoid the Myst? Okay, so how it goes is like this. This is the first time on the channel, right? We'll say 1, 2, 3, and we're going to say buy, wait, or avoid. Okay, if it's different, we will explain. If it's the same, we will also explain. Okay, calm. All right, ready? You want to think a bit first?
Okay.
Can.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Avoid.
Wait. Wow, avoid. I said wait. Okay, maybe you can share why you feel that you should avoid first.
Of course, you will not know what is the launch price until very, very near to the launch date. You will have the indicative starting prices. And of course, if it is unbelievably cheap, then you can definitely consider. But there are a lot of factors that I feel that the Myst is not ideal as an investment property. Because one is in competition with the botany, which honestly was not doing as very well. Even at 2,000. So that one will really depend on what is the break-even price. What is
1,000 is 2,000, yeah.
Yes. So, but apart from that, it's also not the best location. I think the Hillview Rise is actually better. Although it's near to the MRT, the schools are also not too ideal because
not the first few picks that parents would think about.
Right. If you want to compare to the reserve residences, it's near to Pei Hua, it's near to Nanhua and Hua Chong. So these are all good schools that people, that parents who are very kiasu, right?
There,
will try to move their kids there and try to stay there. Yeah. So with this kind of pricing, about 2000 to 2001 to 2002, I think it will be something that I would avoid. Unless it launches about 1008, then I can consider that. Yeah.
I love it. That's very real. Okay, I said wait because I was just thinking if the PSF is 1,006, I'll enter. But if it's anything about 2,000, I would definitely avoid. Yeah, I'm totally right. You're totally right with that because I understand that when it comes to demand factors, 2,000 per square foot in the west area, there are many more resale options that you can consider for gains, right? And there are 2,000 and above PSF launches that is maybe in the east or maybe closer to the RCR region. There has a higher possibility of exit, right? And from the ease of liquidity as well as demand factors, I said avoid if it's above 2,000 per square foot and wait if it's under 2,000 per square foot. Yeah.
We can also think about what's the future potential future transformation of the area.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think that D21, which is where reserve residences is still
has more transformation. D23 got what transformation? Have lah. I know the Longkang now that we are we are walk right has some more stones, artificial stones. Yeah, not much of a transformation.
That's right.
Up. Yeah. Okay. Not that transformation is one of the key factors that we have because almost every part of Singapore is transformed. But I think transformation also allows slight peak in demand or because of the livability of the place, right? All right. We hope that you have enjoyed this episode of New Launch Review with Caleb as well as myself of the Myst. Right, I think that if you feel that Caleb has done a good job, please give him a thumbs up. And also, if you know you are going to have a consultation with Caleb or even Chris or myself, just let him know, right, that he's doing a good job as well, right? Thank you so much for watching this episode of Singapore's Real Estate Explained, our New Launch Review series as well. We're going to see you for the next one, okay? Bye-bye.